I think today we're gonna have to confront things and talk about confrontation. You don't like want to see yourself get dragged on the internet for quite literally no reason.
It feels so great. I love it. As long as it's in the name of art.
Such a confidence boost.
We are not in an open relationship, so everybody keep your hands to your motherfucking selves. And you had to confront me about being like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bitch.
No, but like kind of, yeah. Like,
kind of, yeah.
Just
baby.
like not. Okay.
Just ignore Lynn. He's kind of on one, but because he's dying, we kind of allow it.
Yeah. He gets to do whatever. Welcome to the Gab, where we say things into these mics.
We sure do, baby.
All right.
We got some of this to stay into the mics today.
Yeah.
Little tea time.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you want to talk about?
I think today we're gonna have to confront things and talk about confrontation.
Yeah, agreed. So I think to preface, I want to say that I am so historically have been so non-confrontational. I think that has a lot of reasons behind it. One of them being that I'm a people pleaser, and I think it's sometimes easier in my brain to just not confront things and like keep everyone happy and just move forward and hope that it goes away. And sometimes, depending on the situation, sometimes that's effective. And I think it's just ultimately like whatever brings you the most peace, whether it's confronting something or whether it's choosing to, just look past it. Yeah. But you have been really good for me in the sense that you're like, it's not mean or like, it's okay to rock the boat and stand up for yourself and call someone out respectfully when they are doing something that's just not cool or okay.
Not cool, not okay. Yeah, I think I keep finding myself saying in all these instances is like, it's an act of love. Like being confrontational, in my opinion, is an act of love because you care enough about the situation or the person or whatever, or standing up for yourself, that you're willing to rock the boat a little bit and be like, whoa, that wasn't cool to say, or why did you say that? Like, there's all sorts of ways to confront things, but I think
that's
like,
oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, I feel like one thing, you said you're a people pleaser, but I think the other big thing for you is that you're just a really anxious person.
Yes, definitely.
And for you, it's a lot easier to not confront things because the anxiety that it would produce.
Yeah.
But something that we've learned in some of these instances in the last like 5-6 months is you're going to be anxious either way. Yeah. So we've started asking the question, choose your anxiety. Do you want to be anxious and not say anything, or do you want to say something? Like, you're going to be anxious either way. So why not stand up for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back to what you said about it being an act of love. I think that's really important because obviously it's an act of love towards yourself, because when you're allowing yourself to be a doormat for people, you're not loving yourself well, and you're just betraying yourself and your gut, and I don't know. So it's an act of love for yourself, but ultimately it's also an act of love for other people, because as long as you're doing it in a way that's respectful, not like cussing someone out or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's the intention behind the confrontation? Are you trying to be a dick, or are you trying to say, hey, I really did not like that you said that or that you did that, and whatever? Because it's like, I think that we are all so selfish and sometimes forget to consider other people, that we may not realize how upset something that we do or say is for someone. We don't know how upsetting that it could be for someone. So it's kind of like, it is our responsibility, in my opinion, if someone wrongs us or does something that we don't like, to call it out.
Definitely. And it's better to, I think, something that I've learned is confront things sooner in a gentle, respectful way, rather than letting things pile up. And thinking, okay, if I let this person get away with treating me like this, then they are going to be like, wow, that was nice that they let me get away with that. I'm going to like have more respect for them in the future. That's not how it works, is what I have learned. You teach people how they can treat you. And if you teach people that they can walk all over you, that they can take advantage of your kindness, then it's, that's what they're going to continue to do to you. So
yeah, that just reminded me of something. So as we've discussed in past episodes, I was married to a man, and something that I was extremely guilty about was not speaking up when something upset me, or downplaying how much it upset me, so that eventually when enough stuff had happened, I would just like unleash everything and be like, and you did this and this, and then he was just like, whoa, like that's a lot, like that one thing happened and now you're saying all this, like, so that was like on me to have confronted this stuff in real time and said like, I really didn't like that. And it's even awkward to confront your partner on things, because it's just like, it's not comfy. So something that we've talked about too is how you're not necessarily comfy or don't like confrontation. I don't like confrontation. I've had to be a few times this year, but like I don't like it. I don't know that anyone likes it or gets off. Well, I'm sure there's some people that get off on it, but like I certainly I certainly don't like get off on it, but I've just learned that it's kind of like, yeah, your heart's going to be beating. You're going to be like a little shaky, but it's worth calling out and standing up for yourself.
I think you just have to go with your gut. And I do think while it's like a fine line, like don't let it fester and then let it all, just explode. But also like give yourself a second to sit on it, sleep on it. Be like, is this like basically like is disrupting my peace like worth this? And also, am I disrupting my peace if I choose not to do this? Because I think in the past, like I've been like, no, it's so much better to just not confront it. It's only going to make it worse, like just whatever. And I'm doing that because I'm trying to avoid these negative, anxious feelings that I know I'll feel if I confront something. But recently, with different situations that we've had, like I find that it's really the opposite of what I expected, because it's like, wow, like you're finally trusting yourself and like knowing that you are, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're valid in standing up for yourself, and it's warranted a lot of times. So
that's such an interesting point, baby. Like, yeah, sometimes it's disrupting your peace to say something, but it's also can be disrupting your peace to not say something.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. I definitely don't want to be someone who's just constantly talking shit on the internet. Like, that's definitely not my intention. But it's like people say things these days thinking that no one is going to have a backbone to respond. And in all of these instances of confrontation that we're going to talk about today, we have had a backbone to respond. So, which that's kind of to preface all the stories of confrontation that we will be talking about today, we are only talking about because we have confronted the people that we're talking about in real life. I would never just have something happen to me, not say something to the person that it involved, and then go make a video on the internet about it.
Right.
So that's not what's happening. As we sat down and we're kind of like talking about this episode, it's changed its shape several times based off of some things that have happened in our lives. Ultimately, we landed on we're just going to kind of summarize different things that have happened over the last 5 or 6 months. This has been the year of confrontation for us. It was like literally the same month something happened to both of us that like caused us to have to be confrontational with someone. And I'll do mine first to start because it's pretty short. Basically, something was said to me over text and I did not like it at all. And I had to send like a text that I've never sent before and be like, that wasn't cool. Didn't appreciate that. Like, don't say shit like that again to me. That one has been handled fine. Like, I've seen this person since. They seem to be fine. While I was upset when I sent it, for sure, Like, it's not like, fuck you, I don't want to see you again. It wasn't that. It was just like, don't say that shit to me again.
It's a boundary. Yeah, it's
don't
a boundary.
Say, like, keep, or I think I even said, like, keep that shit to yourself or whatever. It's just like, you don't have to say certain things to people. So that was kind of mine, but it just so happened that the same month you kind of had a situation happen to where you had to be confrontational with someone, and you're in full control over what you want to share in that. But I went first because mine was pretty short. But
one of the only things we have found ourselves butting heads about in our relationship is confrontation. And like,
literally, oh my god, that's been our only arguments have been about me just being like, fucking stand up for yourself.
And me being like, no, it's only gonna make it worse.
Have some self-respect, babe.
Yeah, so basically my situation kind of had to do with somebody who was like, just honestly, like, oh my god, how do I even
this is a
say
tough
this?
one,
Like, this
sure.
is really tough. This is somebody who would like do these things, and then like, if I even so much as like said, well, I don't really love that, it's like the response was always, I hate this word because of how overused it is.
You and me both, baby.
But it was always just this gaslighting of like, well, you this.
Well, I've realized this.
Yes, everything is my fault. Everything is my fault. You're completely right. I just got to a point where I was like, I'm so sick and tired of this person pretending that they care about me while doing A, B, and C. Because it's one or the other. Mm-hmm. You truly can do whatever you would like to do.
Fair.
But you can't simultaneously pretend that you cared about me past, present, or future tense. Like, you can't do both. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. Because if you are willing to step on me for your own benefit, especially if I have done nothing malicious to you, like I'm not a perfect person, nobody is, but like, and I've done some crappy things in my life, but like not to this person. And so like it got me to a point where I was just like questioning myself and questioning what I knew to be true so much that I was just like, okay, I'm not trying to like argue with you anymore, but like you don't get to be in contact with me anymore in any way. It was a self-respect thing, and unfortunately it took me a really long time to get to that point. And there's only so many times that you can give someone the benefit of the doubt. And I think that like that is a good quality to have, to be someone who gives the benefit of the doubt.
That's me. Yeah.
But like,
even in this situation, like current day, like I've been giving this person the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Like I just can't help it. Like I want to be proven wrong. Like please display for me that you're like not a shit human being.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep my mouth shut on that one.
No, fair. Well, I'm just saying, like, I literally, current day, I'm, like, giving this motherfucker the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, basically, that's all that I need to say about that, but it was such a scary thing to, like, finally stand up to someone who had just been... who had learned that they could, and this is what I was talking about earlier, who had learned that I was just this nice person who was never truly going to speak up for myself, and I was just the perfect doormat. And as soon as I said I wasn't going to be that anymore, hi Len.
He's a sweet boy. He's purring loud. He was just making little biscuits back here.
Yeah, and it's so funny because with a lot of people, as soon as we had another situation happen recently like this, like with a lot of people, when you do stand up for yourself, like, and I think it's natural to have an immediate response of defensiveness sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about the one at your work?
Yeah, I'm talking about the one at my work.
So that one I personally want to go a little bit more in detail on, because that one has me the most baffled, I think, maybe of all of the necessary confrontation. Lintel.
Just to finish up what I was saying is, like, I think one thing that's been hard for me is I am really susceptible to the act of being gaslit, like I immediately start to question myself. And I think you just have to reach a point where you're like, this is what I know, this is what I think, and it does not matter if this person or anyone else agrees with me. Anyways, but just being comfortable knowing that, like, when you confront someone, even if you are completely justified in that confrontation, like, unfortunately, a lot of the time, like, people are not going to react well.
I really think
that just is what it is.
I think current day people are almost shocked being confronted. And my personal opinion on the matter, which what do I know? But my personal opinion on it is like social media. It's given everybody the screen to hide behind. Yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. But I think I want to talk a little bit about what happened at your work because it involved both of us.
Yeah, it was in December. Basically, I was at my job, which...
Your place of employment on the clock.
Part-time, I waitress at a bar, restaurant. And I saw these two people that we know, but, like, we're not, like, friends. We don't know them well, okay? So, and keep in mind, we have not seen these people in over 6 months. Like, we have not seen them for so long because we're not friends with them.
Right.
And we don't run in the same circles. So, I see them at my work, and I was like, oh, it's always one of those things where, like, you don't know someone that well. It's like, do I say hi? Like, what do I do? But I decided to, like, try to be outgoing and friendly, and I, like, went and said hello. My work does these, like, little Jell-O shots, and I gave them some Jell-O shots.
For free.
And I didn't know that when I gave it to them, they were already, like, having a pretty good time. Until I started talking to them, and then that was evident to me. And no judgment on that. Like, they were at a bar. They were having fun. I don't mean it like that. I just mean it like they were, in fact, under the influence.
When this happened.
Yeah. We start chatting, and I'm just, like, trying to have a quick conversation and go back to my job. They, like, start asking me, like, if we broke up. And I'm like, no. But, like, I kind of didn't think much of it. Like, I didn't know why that was being asked, but I was just like, no. And then they were, like, talking about a bunch of other stuff, and I'm just, like, trying to go back to my job, right? And then they asked me again, did you and Heather break up? And I'm like, no. Why are you asking me that again? And they're like, Instagram.
Literally get on my Instagram.
And I was like, what do you mean Instagram? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And they're like, okay, fine. Like, Heather's on Hinge. Like, we don't want to start shit, but Heather's on Hinge. And I was like, okay, well.
Which, reminder, Sid and I met on Hinge.
I was like, well, we met on Hinge, and, like, I don't think she would have, like, fully deleted her account, but, like,
most people just delete the app, which is what I did. Which if Paul's right here, let me go grab, because my rebuttal to this.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious. This happened. I guess this happened like.
This was like
before Christmas.
A few weeks before Christmas.
This was a little before Christmas.
This was a little bit.
So the funny part to me is, never deleted my profile. I don't think anyone does. I deleted the app, or honestly, I may not have even deleted the app. I just never got back on the app.
When
it's not, who cares? Like, I'm not active on the app. But I was working on a Christmas present for Sid, and we met on Hinge. So I literally, if you want to know why I was active on Hinge, it's because I printed our motherfucking messages from the app, and, like, put together this whole thing of, like, all of our first text messages, like, photos, like, so if you must know, I was making a Christmas present for Sid, not cheating on her.
Well, so in the
fucking
and
weirdos.
I want to clarify that, like, I was smiling during this conversation. I was like, my girlfriend cheating on me?
Because I'm so sorry. LOL. Your mic ever die when you're talking shit on the internet? Picking back up. And I also wanted to add that I personally don't take it lightly when people accuse me of cheating, because I cheated on my ex-husband. Like, whenever I was figuring out my queer shit. Hi, Frank.
Hey, girl.
which is something I have no issues admitting. Like, I wish people would talk a little bit more about their experiences with cheating, which we actually want to do an episode about that. Just our experiences with cheating. And yeah, so I personally don't really like that because I've done that before. I would never do it again. I have like small regrets in life, but my only real regret is that I would have handled all of that differently with him. So I personally do not think that it's funny to be accused of cheating.
Yeah, when it's not funny at all.
Like,
and it's also like circling back to how like these people don't know us and they don't know anything about our relationship. Like,
literally,
thank God that we have what we have in terms of trust.
Oh my God.
And like, I didn't even have a second where I was like, oh, is she cheating on me? Because like, I literally looked at these people and I was like, we're like basically married. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying,
that's my
like,
wife.
I was just like, this is crazy. Like, it would be one thing if you said it and you were like, just so you know, like, this is what I saw and I just wanted to like make sure you're aware of this. Like, for all they know, we could have had an open relationship.
So that was kind of one of the first things that we were talking about when you called me immediately. You were like, babe, and told me the story, and we were just like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, you can do that as an act of kindness, because that would be technically a confrontation on their side of things. They could have approached Sid and been like, hey, are you and Heather together? Yes. Oh, just curious. I hope this is not overstepping any boundaries. We saw her on Hinge, so we weren't sure if that's, is still a thing. Like, there was a way to go about that and like looking out for you, like, just in case your girlfriend, but to do it in the I don't know is like so hateful and like just fucked up. I can't think of any other way to describe it than fucked up, to go up to someone and insinuate that their partner's cheating on them when you know nothing about the relationship. Because could have been an open relationship. Like, there are numerous things that could have been at play and why I was on Hinge. But
right. So
basically we talked it through. We had another little tiff about it.
To clarify, a tiff about whether or not to confront it.
Yeah. The tiff was me saying, oh, I'm absolutely saying something that's disgusting behavior.
Well, because the hard thing about it is, like, there were other things said in the conversation, too, that were also very off-putting, which I was just, like, to me, like, that made me really pissed off, but I don't want to say anything about it. And Heather was like, that's fine, but like, I'm gonna address what was said about me. And I'm like, yeah, so fair. But just so you know, they're probably gonna like tell you that I'm lying and tell you that it wasn't a big deal, and that's exactly what they did.
So we just so happened to be going to an event that they would be at Lipstick a few days later, and so I was pretty pumped about it, because I was like, great, we were going before they said anything, which if we weren't going before they said anything, we sure would have been, but we were already going. And the funny thing is, that was one of the first things you said when they came up to you, was like, oh, we're going to this event.
My friend is gonna be doing like part of this event. I'm like, I'll see you on Tuesday. Like,
and then they still said that. So to bring up, I've done nothing, like, I'm past the point of caring. These people put on an event, and I've done nothing but show up for this event and support this event, share when it's happening. I don't go as much current day because I don't live right by Lipstick anymore, and we're just kind of in a money saving mode. We're in a creating kind of mode. I don't go out as much anymore. But whenever I was over there, I was going every week to this. I was sharing this thing. I was very supportive of this event that these people put on. And so it's just like, literally, what did I do to you to like accuse me of cheating?
Well, we weren't friendly enough.
That was part of it. They basically thought that we didn't like them, and it's just like,
no, we're not thinking about you.
Like, we're just like existing. And yeah, there was lots more said in that conversation that were completely inappropriate and made Sid feel incredibly uncomfortable, and they were making other people feel uncomfortable because they were drunk. And this was kind of what sparked our big conversation about confrontation. We started to see kind of like what we each thought about confrontation, and
you had to confront me about being like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bitch.
No, but like kind of kind of just
baby.
Like not having enough of a spine to like it all centers around like wanting to keep everyone happy, but that is an impossible task.
Well, it's not even keeping everyone happy. It's you said to me that night, you were like, it was basically about your anxiety and like knowing like the anxiety that you would feel because of it and all of that. And I was like, that is so fair, so valid. I know you're an anxious person, but that's when we started saying you're gonna be anxious either way. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah.
So we went to Lippy on that night, and we got there a little early because I'm not trying to cause a scene. I don't want to be a part of drama. For some reason lately, people are just like fucking lassoing us into drama.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it. I think sometimes people almost don't like when people are really happy.
Fair.
I'm not saying that's everyone, but I'm saying
We're not pointing fingers.
I think that there are some people that just don't like to see two people in a happy, healthy relationship, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But
points made. Do we love hearing a juicy drama story? Yeah. We do. Who doesn't? If
it's not about us.
But we don't want to be in it.
I'm kidding.
We don't want to be in it.
No, we have a peaceful, I think I like this little life. We have a peaceful little life here in our little home.
Duplex with 4 cats.
4 cats. We live here together. Lesbians live on the other side of the duplex. We call it the diplex.
The diplex is thriving, I feel.
We just have this happy, peaceful life. We don't want...
But once again...
bullshit.
I refuse for someone to, like, do something like this or, like...
Yeah.
Pull me into drama and me just ignore it like it's not happening.
Yeah.
Is the other thing. So that's why we're having this discussion here on the Gab.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got there early. They were at the bar and walked up to get a drink. And the funniest part to me is that they like went like this to dab me. And I'm like, literally a few days ago you were insinuating that I was cheating on my girlfriend, and now you just want to like fist bump me? Are we serious? And that... So first words out of my mouth was like, so, like,
No, you fist bumped back and said,
I did fist bump.
Who thought it was a good idea to tell my girlfriend I was cheating?
Something like that. It's been so long now, but, like, who thought it was okay to insinuate that I was cheating to my girlfriend? People came in, like, towards the end of it and were like, what was that? Like, they were asking us after, like, what was that about?
Well, I walked up at the very end, and then they looked at me like, a look of, like, why would you tell her that this was this big deal? And I was like...
It is a big deal. You accuse me
because
you
it's a big
cheating.
deal, and like you're like you don't think beyond being interested in drama, honestly, to think like this could have been detrimental to our relationship if we were different people and we had a different relationship. Like, say that like we had infidelity in our relationship in the past. There are couples that like have had infidelity in the past, and then like they work it out, and like that you just don't say that shit to people.
You don't. I mean, like I said, I cheated on my husband. I was in an open relationship before Sid. Like, I've experienced all these things. Like, it's just not your place.
But we are not in an open relationship, so everybody keep your hands to your motherfucking selves.
That's funny, baby. I really, like, they would have been best off just saying, dude, we were drinking that night. We were celebrating our friend. I don't remember much of what was said. Sorry if we said anything stupid. We were drunk. And I would have said, that's so fair. So fair. But they didn't go that route.
But it was like they were acting like they didn't remember it. And when I walked up, I was like...
No, they were basically just acting like it wasn't a big deal and that they were just joking. And that's when I was like, so what's the joke? Where is the joke in that?
Well, they also said other weird ass shit to me, and then I was like, I literally, in the whole thing, I was like, why are you saying this shit to me? And I called them out on it, and they were like, we're just joking about the other thing. Just like it's not
funny. A lot of, like, downplaying it, and, we don't know y'all's relationship, and it's like, that's the point. That is, so you do get it. You don't know the relationship. They were apologetic in saying, like, they did acknowledge and say sorry, but then they were backing that up. Basically, things they were saying was kind of counteracting the apology.
The way they were saying sorry was like in a sarcastic way. in my opinion. It was like, sorry. And then it was like, can we just buy you guys some shots? Apology shots. And we were like, we don't take shots. So we were just like, no, it's okay. You don't have to do that. And then they were like offended that we didn't want to take the shots.
But yeah, it was just a lot of like, y'all are making this into a bigger thing than it is. And it's like, well, one, no, we're not actually. I'm being like very chill about this, actually. What do you mean making it like, we're being so calm about this? And I even said, I'm like, look, we're good. I'm just like letting you know that like that wasn't cool, like to do that at all. And I want to say that's how it ended. I was just like, no, we're good. And then we like stepped to the side and ordered our own drinks. I just am so baffled by people's behavior. And like, I can't imagine ever doing that and like being okay with that. Like, I would have been so mortified if I was like in their shoes and then the person confronted me. Like,
they were mortified.
I don't know. I think that they were shocked for sure. But whatever. If you feel like you were righteous and right in that situation, like, have a good life. But like, honestly, like, respectfully grow up and find another hobby. That's about all we have to say about that one. Wouldn't it be so cool if that was the last situation of confrontation that took place?
Oh my God, wouldn't it be?
Would have been the best.
Wouldn't it be?
Yeah. But of course it's not.
Of course not.
Because we're lesbians.
It's been
and lesbians love drama.
Yeah.
Queer people.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. So what do we want to say about
current day?
Yeah.
Baby, you can say as much as you want to say. Was I brought into it in some weird way? Yeah, but it's your thing.
First thing I will say is that, like, I am a songwriter. So obviously I know a lot of other songwriters and musicians. I genuinely don't know what to say.
People have audacity on the internet.
People have a lot of audacity. I think for me, it's like when you post something, you may be thinking like, oh, well, this is just going out to the whole internet. Like, nobody necessarily knows who I'm talking about. Like, I don't care if one person knows who you're talking about when you post something. If you are twisting something in a way or taking something that...
If you're going to talk shit on the internet, at least let it be true. Like, at least let it not be like a twisted narrative. Let it not be a half truth. Let it be a full truth.
And
if you're
I'm
gonna talk
so sorry,
shit.
But like, music promotion and songwriting, honestly, does not have to be a smear campaign to get your point across. This is the same like situation that I was talking about earlier. Current day, I am allowed to be an imperfect person. I just don't even like know how to say it. It's like, babe, do you have anything to say? Like, I just don't.
I have a lot to say, baby. I have too much to say about this, and you know that.
If you are trying to smear someone in the name of music and your career, marketing, like, you need to revisit.
You're not an artist.
What you're doing, because
you're a TikToker.
I just don't understand, like...
And if you want to be a TikToker, be a fucking TikToker.
Right.
But, like...
Right.
Let's look at all the marketing campaigns of, like, the really awesome artists out there. None of them are doing that shit.
Yeah. I think one thing that I want to say is, like... Again, if that is who you're gonna be, and that is who you... these are the things that you're willing to do to get where you want to go, then just own it and admit that that is the person that you are.
Yeah,
right?
You can't play both sides.
You can't do both. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you can't be sweet little artist and then also like fuckboy who's like dragging people on the internet with like not full truths. Like, and honestly just like painting people in a way online that's just
that is very damaging.
That if a man was doing it, they would be getting ripped to shreds. That's the whole other part of it. Ripped like, to fucking shreds.
Yeah.
Like, people would be standing up for it, but for some reason it's being celebrated. Like, what is, and I repeat, what is wrong with people?
And just to point out, sometimes when you confront someone and they are not able to take accountability for their actions, they are then going to try to smear campaign you. And so I just, it's like for a certain period of time, I've been able to just be like, it doesn't matter, whatever. Like, anybody that knows me personally knows that this is not true.
What, that you're not an alcoholic? That you're not like that?
Listen, I am perfectly willing to be vulnerable in that alcoholism runs in my family. Yeah. And like when I'm going through something difficult, like it has sometimes been something that I have leaned on. Mm-hmm. But there's not like
let's make jokes about, let's make it a marketing campaign.
I just like don't I just like cool. Can't get my head
that
around
would be,
it.
That would be artistry
ridiculous.
At its finest.
It's so ridiculous. But again, what do I know? I don't have a bunch of followers or whatever. What the fuck do I know?
You don't have a bunch of followers, but you do have a bunch of good music.
Well, thank you, babe.
That speaks from your experience and is truthful about people and isn't twisting things to like fit your song or fit the marketing of a song.
Well, one thing I want to say is I think like there's not a songwriter out there that's not guilty of changing the details of a story or using a specific word because it rhymes or whatever it is. And that's like, that's completely understandable. Like I have that in some of my songs. I think that everybody does, but it's so much more nuanced than that. And I think that anybody with half an ounce of emotional intelligence can understand that. Basically, like, we just were butting heads once again, and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything because like
we were butting heads the most about this one.
Yeah, it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse if I stand up for myself. And then I just kind of like snapped a little bit because you can only devalue and demean someone for so long before it's just like,
well, that
I'm a human being. Like, you don't get to just...
Well, that, and it just started getting taunty, to be honest.
Yes.
It got, like, a little bit,
did.
like...
Yeah.
It was almost, like, asking to be responded to in a way, in my opinion.
Well, and the hard thing has been that,
gladly
like...
we'll play that game.
For my own peace of mind and mental health... Like, I have chosen to unfollow this person and not look at the content that they're posting.
You don't like, want to see yourself get dragged on the internet for quite literally no reason?
It feels so great. I love it. As long as it's in the name of art.
Such a confidence boost.
No, but, like, we have butted heads because you have been insistent on checking what's
obviously
being said, and I've been like, I'm pretending like it doesn't exist, and you're gonna pretend like it doesn't exist too, and you're like, I'm not ever gonna be caught dead not knowing what's being said about you. And honestly,
nobody's approaching me and being like, saw that TikTok. Oh, same, me too, I saw it also.
Right. So like, I'm just grateful to have a partner like you who calls me out on my own shit and also is, like, gonna be willing to butt heads with me when, like, I'm wanting to be avoidant and be in denial about something that's happening.
Be a doormat.
Yeah, and just, like, also someone who's, like, willing to stand up for me and, like, I don't know. So, anyway, I ended up posting a song recently that was pretty different from anything else I've ever posted. It was scary to do, but I am so glad I did it because it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like, I had so much anxiety about saying something, but then I realized what you had to point out to me is like, you're gonna be anxious either way. So you can be anxious and allow this to just continue. I don't know, like you can just allow this person to continue like kicking you, or you can say something.
Or just, yeah, and
at least know that you've honored yourself in standing up for yourself.
And you stood up for yourself, like, with art and, like, with your talents, and you responded in a way that wasn't petty, in my opinion. I mean, I commented on the TikTok, so maybe my response was a little bit more petty, but, like,
it was warranted.
You were wondering, and I thought I would answer your question. It's tough, and here's what I keep thinking about in all of this too, is like, think about all the artists and the songs they're releasing. Like, there are a lot of people out there who have been painted in a not so good light on the internet in songs. I personally cannot think of very many other artists that are marketing the songs in this way, that are like almost painting you to be worse than in the songs. It's so wild. Like, I just think, like, I see this happening, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, this is like the person I love. This is my motherfucking wife that I'm like watching unwarranted get drug on the internet. And I think it's shit, because like, between me, you, and everybody else, if you had done something to this person that warranted it, I would be like, get drug, baby, get drug. Yeah. My ex-husband dragged my ass on the internet for cheating on him. I don't care. Do it. I did it. I will be like, got my ass. So it's not like we're not saying don't sing about your truth. If somebody does something fucked up to you. Yeah, call it out. Like, call it out. That's kind of what we're doing right now. That's what I just did, because like, I have been quiet about it in my life and in my writing for so fucking long, and I finally was just like, okay, like, that hasn't been working, clearly. Seeing about your experiences, and if someone did you wrong and you feel like it will make you feel better to, it's just like, unleash on them on the internet, then do it. What I can't understand is like, unwarranted is wild. I just can't understand like twisting a story like that and not expecting, first of all, like, even if that was like an accurate representation of what happened, like, you don't get to just, it's interesting because since this has happened, like, I have just been like, half my TikTok is like artists and songwriters, and so I'm seeing all different versions of writing styles and concepts and promotion, and I just don't see anything else that is like this. I don't either. And so it's like, I don't either. You can't compare it to the other. You just can't. Like, the look around you. Yeah, like, no name dropping took place, but the only thing I can compare it to really is the Becky Shannon Fletcher situation, in that someone got drug into something that did not ask to be, and no permission was asked. And yes, there was no name dropping, but like, there was a drop of my literal place of work at the time. A very specific location. Is so beyond. And that's how I knew, baby, like... Yeah, because you knew about the situation. I knew the story, so and I was like... what it was about. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, this is about... Like, are we kidding? And then the song kept happening, and I was just like... What? Like, this... It's kind of like, you and me both know this isn't true. Like, not you and me, but you and me and this person. Like, we both know this isn't true. I think sometimes, and it's so cruel. People tell themselves enough stories and tell the other people in their lives enough stories that maybe it is true to them. I think you need help if, like, you think that was okay in any way. But to each their own. To each their own. Not gonna try to stop anyone from making their art, but like, do better. Like, do better. I don't know what else to say. Like, truly, this is a talented person. This is a talented writer. This is a talented artist. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. Because I confronted you privately on treating me like shit. In another song promotion. Holy fucking shit, dude. Like, oh my God. It's wild. It's wild. I think that's all we need to say about that situation, because
I think it's important to address, but I don't want to give it too much attention because it's not worth my fucking breath.
It's not worth it because it's honestly just cruel. This situation, the Becky Shannon Fletcher situation, like, definitely, like, opened my eyes to, like, oh, this isn't, like, because I'll be honest, whenever the Becky So Hot first came out, I remember being like, damn, dude, like, that's fucking wild, because I love Fletcher. Like, I love her music. I like her, I guess, presence online. Obviously, I don't know her, but when you're outside of it, it, like, doesn't. Yeah, you forget don't think about that there's humans on the other side. They're, like, Becky on the other side of that I think I saw on a TikTok that she did, like, she lost her job over that because it was this big drama. Like, I think I had a conversation with my partner at the time, and I think they were even like, and then that kind of gave me another perspective that kind of, like, brought me back down to earth and was like, there's humans on the other side of that. And then I started seeing what Shannon was posting about it, and I was like, oh, back down to earth, there's humans on the other side of that. And, like, part of me really thought that it was probably, like, a planned PR move, because that would make it okay. If it was a planned PR move, they're all involved, they think it's a funny thing, whatever. But it doesn't sound like that was the case. Yeah. And yeah, it's just so dehumanizing, and I think social media has made it so easy to pretend like there's not feelings and, like, another person on the other side of that then has to, like, ultimately deal with those feelings of, like, getting drugged on the internet like that. So absent of any compassion or empathy or thought for another person. Like, you do not, I know this sounds cliche, but, like, you do not know what someone is going through at any given moment. True. And, like, your words matter, whether you are saying it directly to a person, whether you're tagging someone, whether you're not tagging someone, or whether you're just giving as many key indicators as you can of who it's about. Like, sticks and stones may break my bones, words, absolute bullshit. Not true. Let's look at, like, suicide rates surrounding bullying, like, words fucking hurt, like, people, and, like, you can do damage with your words. Some people just don't care, but again, you can't be two things at once. Do not talk about mental health if you are going to do things that could people knowingly compromise the state of someone's mental health. Yeah, that if you're making art online that makes other people think about, I don't think I want to be here anymore. I think it would be a lot easier if I wasn't here. So I didn't have to deal with this fucking shit. Yeah, if that's what your art is doing, like, honestly, just be aware that that's what your art is doing, honestly. Like, and if you're okay with it, then okay. If you're okay with it, cool. Okay. It seems like in all of your other stuff that maybe you wouldn't be okay with it, but that goes back to, like, trying to play both sides. I just think, just pick one. Segue. Enough on that. Other than that, like, I had to confront my dad. Oh yeah, you've actually had some family confrontation going down this year as well. So it really, when we say it's been, like, 6 months of confrontation, like, that has been the theme of our life. Here's the thing, it's great because I've had to do so much of it in 1 year. 6 months, baby. 6 months. 6 months, really, yeah. That I have gotten so much more comfortable with it now because I've just been forced into it, like, again and again. Like, the universe has been like, no, the phase of your life where you just shut up and be a doormat is actually ending. Like, you're going to start figuring out how to respectfully confront people and stand up for yourself when you are being wronged. So, yeah, I had to confront my dad for telling a whole bunch of lies and doing some really fucked up shit, and that didn't go well either. He doesn't talk to me anymore, which, I mean, like, good riddance, sayonara, but probably like for the best to it's just sometimes your confrontation is going to ruin relationships, and I think that if that's the case, then it's not a relationship, friendship, whatever it is that you are meant to be in. And maybe not that couldn't change in the future, but if somebody can't hear you on what you're feeling, as long as you're saying it with respect and kindness, right, then they do not belong in your life, period. Yeah, we have talked a lot about that, actually. It's kind of like how people respond to being confronted with something is very telling of who they are and, like, how much they care about you. Because if they care about you, it doesn't even have to be that deep. Like, if they are capable of taking a step back and looking at what happened and saying, oh, yeah, that was pretty fucked up to do. like, thank you for calling me out on that, then like they're probably good people, you know, like they're probably valuable to remain in your life. But and we all get defensive, guilty, like we're all guilty of getting defensive when we're called out about something, because generally I feel like that's like the first step when you get confronted with something. Anyone I've ever experienced, the first, our gut,
I get defensive sometimes when you call me out on things.
Defensiveness is reflex, and I think like
it's human.
That's totally fair. But I think like after you kind of hit that defensiveness and then sit with it for a little bit and say, yeah, got my ass. I know I can be defensive, but in the grand scheme of things, I feel like I have no problem admitting. I guess I feel like I don't have that much issue like admitting fault.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't know. It's not that deep. Like, we all fuck up.
That is such a good point. It's really not that deep. Like, just admit when you're wrong. Nobody is right all the time.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, this has been a great conversation on confrontation, I think.
I think so too. I think to wrap up, I think all have a point in life that we're required to confront something, mistreatment from another human being, our jobs, whatever. It's super uncomfy. Ultimately, in my experience, it has been well worth it every time. The people that you confront, if they're meant to remain in your life, they will. And it's like a learning moment for everyone to be better.
Yeah, so to reiterate, confrontation is an act of love, as it's a way for us to help one another grow and, you know, not repeat mistakes over and over again and be better versions of ourselves. So,
yeah. It has been an interesting 6 months.
Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted.
I think we should carry on with our lives now.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, we're already in the bed, so.
All right. Well, with that, we will see you guys next time when we're going to be starting something really cool.
Next week, I'm like the most excited for next week's episode. Truly.
Me too.
It's going to be something surrounding music. It's like us talking about music that we like and focusing in on an artist each time.
Yep.
And it's called Lyrics We Love, where we like literally are pulling lyrics out of songs that we like.
We want to do a bunch of artists that are local to Nashville, which is where we are. But not just that, like also just small artists that are based wherever. So
how long have you been in that closet?
We don't stay in the closet.
We do not stay in the closet in this house.
Anyway, we're so excited for that next time. Talk to you later.
See you next week.
Bye.